Welcome to a very special box opening with Avram and Donovan at Adventures in Comics and Games. I'm always mentioning that we buy misprints. I'm a huge misprint fan, and we have a box today full of what they're called minor misprints. So not necessarily super weird, odd looking stuff, but these are all different things I won in a auction lot on Facebook. So let's see, what do we have in this box?
Really packed in there.
Yes, that was part of the deal. So we've got, I'm going to pull these out and take a look at them. Gonna give you some ideas of different things that can happen that we're interested in that we might be, want to pick up if you find them. Have some you want to get rid of. And it's just kind of, let you know a little bit more. And if you're part of the misprint community already, just kind of, show you some stuff that will, you can let us know if you want to go in our next auction, misprint auctions online. We do those regularly. And yeah, this is just kind of neat. Wanted to do some more misprint type videos. We actually accidentally did one recently.
Okay.
Remember that, Donovan?
Yeah, I got the Goblin Bombardment, which is
the really nice crimp. Yeah, really nice crimp.
It was a deep crimp too. It went over the
foil stamp.
Yeah, the foil stamp, like the authentication stamp or whatever, the counterfeit stamp, to make sure,
Yeah.
hey, this is a legit card.
Yeah, it went pretty deep. It was a full, what I like to call a full crimp, and there was no piece missing off the bottom, because that can happen sometimes if the card is sticking out of the wrapper and it goes across where the machine crimps to seal the bottom. If it's sticking out too far, the machine also cuts, separating the two wrappers from each other, and it will cut off a piece of the card, and sometimes the piece it cuts off will be in the next booster pack. It's just, did you get that next booster pack or not? So if you ever open up something like that, you find a piece of a card in there, look in your other packs in your box and see if the rest of the card is there. Keep them together. It is factory damaged, but because they go together, there will be people that want them together, and they could be worth more. So let's go through some of this stuff here. So we have this, you can see a little bit of the little white dots there. Those are their centering dots for normal where it should be cut. So this is called an off-center, front and back that matches. So it's not a miscut because you can't see another card. Some people consider this a minor miscut because those centering dots mean that is kind of the possible black border edge of another card, but you can't see a separation, so it's not as big a deal. Then we've got, this has like extra yellow streaks running through it. You can see that.
Yeah, it looks,
right here. So that's, that's called a yellow bleed, where the yellow layer is kind of bleeding through, or it was printed more heavily and it's bleeding through the other colors. We have more, and you can see also the centering marks in the back right there. Also, this is shifted. You can see the border is thicker on this side to this side. So this is not just off-center this way, but it's also off-center. So it's off-center this way as well, horizontal and vertical. So that's kind of more interesting if this is if this was a playable card, or somebody wanted a, something that makes it a white core ally creature token, they might want this for their deck.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go through these more of a, off-center, a lot of minor, off-centers. The more playable a card is, the more interesting it is to people. But also, if it just looks really strange, it's also interesting. This has a crimp. It's the Exodus common. I'm going to hold this up here. Let's see. The top of the card. That's the crimp we're talking about. It was partially stuck out of the wrapper, or out of the top of the pack where the machine went and crimped it closed. So it picked up that little, there we go. There's a better, all the way across there. That's solid. It's not a full crimp, but it's a pretty solid one. So if anybody wants to put this in a deck, it's going to be desirable. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's
really off. The front and the back match. This one, you can see
part of the card. Yeah.
See it part of the next card, so that's actually a miscut. That's kind of neat, and that's also a zombie. I know at least a few zombie collectors that might want that. Oh wow, there's really neat off center. This is, wow, also 4th edition with some people are calling these minor miscuts because they are so far off that there should be another card there. And Gee, I know a gentleman named Jafar, if I'm saying his name correct, he might be interested. He collects lizards
Oh,
because
huh.
of his pet lizard inspired his collection. And that's really neat, you know. This right here, this appears to be Dark Visions. You can see it's much darker than normal. You can see it's just really vibrant green and darker blue in the artwork. This is basically, there's a lot of collectors of Dark Visions out there, just whether they need that one or not. Revised, you know, basically off center. This, can't tell if I can see a sliver of another card or not, but this is technically playable. It's jellyfish, so if anybody needs that, it's the Visions. This is called misaligned, actually, because you see the front and the back do not match
Yeah.
up. And it's called misaligned because the sheets, when they were put together, they were not lined up correctly. So when it was cut, you see the border is thicker on these two sides. But you turn it over, it's the same two sides, but really it's not because that's upside down. It should be this thicker border should be thicker over here. So that's misaligned and it was a rare. So this is kind of neat. Uh, just real severe, you know,
I think the ones I
off
like the most
center.
are the twisted.
Those look really
Yeah,
neat
the
too.
twisted ones look super cool.
When they cut, the dies weren't quite sharp and you know, and they kind of turned a little bit, and you can see this is actually twisted right here. You can see an edge right here of another card, but
Oh
only
yeah,
on this
yeah, only
side,
on that one.
and it's not quite straight. So that's a miscut. So we're just gonna kind of go through these real quick, see if we can catch any. So this is another misaligned because the front and the back don't match, and they're dramatically different. So just kind of going through some stuff here, kind of, you know, get some neat. This is basically you know, ended up. Not everybody wants to sell these individually, or there might be a bunch of things that are not as desirable individually. So they will do a lot and just go, hey, buy them all at once. And I had the winning bid. This one is just a heavy ink. You know, sometimes that can be from the rollers, basically the little bit more ink, and then it kind of blurs a little bit as it goes on there, or a little bit of ink run from the previous sheet on the same card, so you're getting a little bit extra of the same exact text put over. That, you know, it's almost like
Yeah,
a double print, but not really a double print.
Oh, plasma sax
Ooh,
foil.
this one's neat, and this one's got roller marks right here, and basically that's just factory damage, but it's definitely from it's actually an extra little line up here. So that's kind of neat. Foil blasphemy. Oh, there, full miscut. You can see another card. That's got a swamp on the bottom. So some people play as written. So technically you can see it's a swamp. So you could put this out and use it, you know, the enchantment ability and tap it for a black mana. You know, I think that's how that works. And this has got some printer hickeys there at the top.
Oh, there's a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, which is generally, you know, something stuck on the paper when it was printed and the ink didn't stick to it correctly. Could be oil. This is another just darker print. Uh, this also, like, sometimes called referred to as an oil spill. There was some oil or something that had gotten on the sheet before it was printed, and it didn't fully dry. So when the machine went to print this one, the ink wouldn't fully stick there.
I'll say I've seen a few that are they're like gray.
Yes, they get it. Those ones are really popular. This has really weird colors. This is a lot lighter of a red than it should be. Um, so there's some, once again, little roller or the, you know, little extra ink stuck on there, blurred. It was a little heavier when they put it down. You can see it running right here. So this I actually
The
have a good
yellow, right?
handful. Yeah, the yellowing up here, I actually have 4 or 5 of these already. So let me show you right up here in the top. So I'm just kind of try to go through these, you know, faster. Was this supposed to have? No, this was an uncommon, so it didn't have the foil stamp. This is just a real minor. Let's see if there's, am I missing? I think. Not sure. That looks like the wrong color to me. Right there. Do you see it?
Just a little bit closer.
Some more of the heavy ink right here.
Oh no, I see what's going on with it. It's
Oh,
the text box. It's too light. Look how
oh, that's it.
thin.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I missed that. Right in here,
yeah.
light ink on the text
So
box. It should
super
be,
thin.
like the ink was running out when it was printing on that level. This one is kind of like what I was talking about, is the ink spill, where it
Oh,
didn't everything fully stick to it. So that's really neat. So that's kind of neat. The Ice Age, there's popular. This also has some odd coloring. I think it's darker, a heavier green in there, so you can't really see all the
yeah.
details.
That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a very dark print.
So
Oh,
we
there's
got,
a big old splotch.
yeah,
Is that
that's
UV
another.
coating missing?
No, 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 that's another one of those ink spills.
Oh,
And it goes over the edge on this side, so there's a connector. Somebody might have the other one that can come. Basically, before it was cut, it would
oh,
have went across there, because normally that's like a splash or a splotch. They call it like a splotch
mm-hmm.
or a blotch. And like I said, once again, something got on the paper before it was printed, and it didn't fully dry, or it left some type of barrier to the ink properly
Setting into the card.
setting into it. And so that's why you have that discoloration. And the cooler it looks, the more people and the more playable it is. Because a lot of people want to actually build EDH decks that look cool and not
Yeah.
just when you play them. Here's more of the, it's actually the same one with the yellow stripes on there. Let's see, we're just going to kind of go through these, looking at different issues. You can see the different, these look a little bit different each one. Have the line across there. Oh, wait, that's a really messed up edge there. That's like a roller mark. I think they call that a pick, where the roller probably picked that up and may have dropped that ink onto another card.
Mm.
Ooh, neat. Splotchy.
Oh, it's like a yellow splotch too.
Yeah, some splotch up there and off center. So heavy ink.
It always amazes me how many of these actually get out into like the wild.
Well, if you think about it, even if it's like 1 in 1,000 and they print millions of cards, there's
Yeah,
going
that's
to
true.
be
Yeah.
a decent amount of out there. But really, most people do not have this many. This is quite a bit.
Yeah. It's
And
a
I've been
lot.
setting them aside for 30 years, so I have quite a bit
Yeah.
because I don't hoard, I collect.
I mean,
And I
I've
save them.
I've got a handful
Very
myself, like
dark.
slightly twisted, and then the gray border.
Those are neat too.
Yeah.
Right here we have, this is, I believe this is a shift. The plates were shifted and it left kind of like a blank or a partially blank spot
Yeah,
here.
yeah. It's
But this is specifically, if you can see at the top there,
yeah. There's like a you can see where like
this is actually a promo card
yeah, it's from
I think it was from the comic book.
yeah, it's a media promo.
It's a media promo from the comic way back in the day. Heavy ink, um, right up here, missing a little bit of the clue stone. So this is kind of neat. Let me see if anything else jumps out. Something's not obvious, I'll flip it over. This is a known misprint from Portal Second Age, the casting cost. You can see the little uh, dot on there. It doesn't have the full circle behind it, but I believe every single one has this. That's why it's called it's a minor. Even though everyone is like that, it is still technically a print error,
Oh,
even though it was probably when they actually were putting the sheet together, or the technician, however this particular set was done, they did not do it properly.
it's kind of like the what was it, Corpse Knight from Core
Yes.
20, where it's like every single one from the previous kits from that print run is a 2/3, but the card's actually supposed to be a 2/2.
Correct,
And everyone knows
exactly.
about it, so even
It's a
like
known
PCG,
error,
yeah,
but because it was a limited run, it's still considered a misprint,
yeah.
and it's somewhat desirable. Like these Gaia's touches, you can see the casting cost is way off to the left, including the name, and the text kind of shifts over to the left as well. Well, this looks really neat,
Yeah.
but 1 in 3 on the sheet, it was typeset wrong. The person who actually put the information on the sheet to, program it to be printed, there was three. This was a common three, so it was on the sheet three times. One of the three was done this way, so every one in three printed of this card has this error. So it's not just known, but it's 1/3 of
One
the
third of
print
the print
run.
run. Okay.
I have a lot of them, but once again, me having a lot doesn't really mean much because I've handled more cards and yeah, this is say it's I handle a lot of cards.
I mean, over the course of like basically 30 years.
Over 30 years, I've touched tens of millions of cards, and I'm not exaggerating. I currently have more than people would believe.
I mean, to put it in perspective, I'm looking at like 1 million cards right now in this room.
That's no on the one side of the room.
Yeah, yeah, just
Like just what you can without turning your head.
yeah.
Yeah. Now don't get too happy for viewers who are listening to this. If they're not all that good.
Yeah.
That's why they're sitting there. So once again, this is yeah, slightly misaligned, but and it was just trying to there's a miscut, another miscut, minor miscut. Some of these I may have actually sold this gentleman originally. I wouldn't be surprised if I did. But anyways, that one I have to look at a little closer. It looks like it's a little bit lighter than it should be. I'm familiar with this card, but I need to look at it a little closer. Oh, we've got a crimp on the top here. So let's see. Get some focus going here. How do we focus this again? Just
yeah, it kind of just autofocuses itself. It's really hard to get it to focus all the way up close.
ironically, I can see the crimp underneath the next card underneath it really well from this angle. So maybe I should put this back down here. Yep, there we go. So you can see the crimps on both of those on the top now.
Yeah.
Just a lot of these are just real minors. Off centers like this one actually looks like there's a sliver at the very top.
Yeah, the right side.
You can see sliver, so this would be a miscut because it's Ice Age 1. Those are harder to find, those real old misprints or miscuts and stuff like that. Will
whip down. So
this is misaligned. The back is normal. The front is off center with the alignment dot. So just looking for, and we have, once again, you can see the heavier ink in the name. Trying to make sure everything can be seen here. Get through these quick, keep it interesting. A lot of off centers, minor miscuts, little ink errors, little foil errors here and there. This is missing. This has some missing ink. It looks like maybe just wear also sometimes. Don't know what happened to it exactly. Could have happened to the factory, could have happened afterwards. So it's always good to talk to an expert or to do some research and figure stuff out. This is not just off center, but it's a twisted miscut because you can see a sliver of another card right there. You can kind of see it, a little bit of blue there, and you see how the edge is not quite straight. So that's a twisted miscut, like you said. They're kind of neat.
yeah, I think the twisted ones just are the coolest. That and I mean, I like the twisted a lot, and then I really like the miscuts where you can see another card.
Oh yeah, and then this one. Sorry to interrupt you there, but this one has a factory roller mark straight up and down here, but also it has a high gloss, which means it's from the second print run of Ice Age, which was done at a different factory, I believe, if I remember correctly. And most of these, or some of them that came from that print run, had the high glass with the darker colors. And some of those had issues on the border where the borders came out grayish blue or straight blue. And that's because the border black was actually printed on top of the blue layer. And so if they didn't get enough ink, then you can see the blue layer coming through.
Mm.
So, anyways, you're saying you like the miscuts and stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that?
like the twisted, and then I like the miscuts where you can actually see a part of another card, especially with like the names.
Yes, if you can see the other name, like I said, a lot of people play this format called play as written. So if it's on there, you can do it. Or if it's a double print and you can read both of the different
Mm.
cards, like it's two different cards, you get to use them both. It's really crazy. Oh, there's another crimp. Crimp you can see on the bottom right here. So it's kind of neat. A lot of oh, little color splotch up there. Oh, get some dark ink right here. It's a lot of neat stuff. Oh, there's some really nice crimps. Ooh, look at those. Oh, yeah, you can really see those crimps. Those are pretty. And a vampire and minotaur shaman. That's kind of neat. Oh, more crimps. Oh, we got a bunch of crimps right here. All four of these are crimped. The top, a little harder to see. Like I said, feel free to let me know more crimps. Oh, look at that necromantic thirst. That's a huge crimp on that one. It's
Oh,
pretty.
really? Yeah, it's really deep.
Uh, a lot of off centers and so many great candidates going to my future auctions. Like to do this, try to put on a good, entertaining show for the community. Or such an amazing group of people. Just we all get to play Magic and enjoy Magic in different ways, and this is another different way. Another crimp on the older cards. The crimp sometimes can be a little harder to find, just because different quality control over the years. This one you were mentioning gray, I think gray border earlier. I think it says roller mark. I want to say no.
It does look a little light.
Looks a little light, but
Yeah.
definitely I think that's a factory roller mark down the center there. Oh, there's a good miscut.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
be over a swamp. Rush a battle over a swamp. That's kind of neat for a warrior deck. I think there's some, and yeah, that one's pretty. That's actually also showing a sliver of another card. You can see right down.
Yeah.
A little bit of white sliver, so that's a miscut as well. It was just kind of run through these, keep this interesting. Another one of the gayest touches. Oh, that's light
Super light
print.
for it.
Yeah, more crimps. Oh, and we have a signed mark by Mark Bull, the artist, and that is a legit signature. I've seen him signed so many times. That's nice. Actually, can't quite. I'd need to look a little closer, but that may or may not show the sliver of another card. Can't tell. Oh, look at that yellowing across the top.
Oh, yeah.
And actually,
It's like really yellow,
I
actually,
think
across
there's
the top.
actually a splotch across there as well. I think I kind of see
It
a
looks like
light
the
line.
sides are fine, but it's like all the way across
This
the
this
top.
is all lighter, and I think that's why the yellow is coming through. Sometimes when the ink spills restrict the ink sticking to it or properly coming together, certain colors will stand out depending upon what the spill was or how long it's
Hmm.
cured before it saw print. In this particular example, there's so much yellow on the card, that's what's standing out. I've seen some where it's the magenta that stands out. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it just all just muddles the coloring. Oh, playable land there. Nice minor miscut. Another extinguish known error. More miscrit. Sorry, miss. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Oh, wait, little color, little pick. The roller would have picked that off, possibly dropped it onto another card. Some more crimps. Crimp on the bottom. A nice crimped Fallen Empire equivalent to a rare. Not actually rare, uncommon one, I believe, or two, depending on how many times it was on the sheet. Oh, nice. That's a miscut. You can see the blue miscut there. There's some nice miscuts. Wow, there's so many here. This is just giving everybody some examples. Let's go through this stuff, look for anything that really jumps out. Because right at this point, we kind of covered a lot of the
Different types, yeah.
different types and stuff. Oh, right there. That would have probably been picked up and dropped off on another card. Oh, look how yellow that is. Nice little splotch right here. This foil ink errors are always interesting. Let's see if we can find anything else that really pops. Yeah. I said stay tuned. Some of this stuff will be going up in auction. Some of it will just be made available um, whenever. There's the little printer hickeys there. Let's see, what do we got here? Printer, nice big printer hickey there. Color spots, light ink, light ink. Oh wow, light ink, but that blue really
Oh
pops in
yeah.
the Torment of Scarabs.
Yeah, it's like the blue
Heavy
is very
ink.
deep, but everything else
Yeah,
looks
it's
super,
actually
super
kind of
light.
cool. I like how the
It
blue
almost looks
pops
like
on
it's kind
that.
of shining through,
Yeah,
like sunlight from a
this
window.
is actually an amazing play card for EDH because it's a curse. Enchant player at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 3 life unless he or she sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. That's crippling. Plus, it gets to stay out there, and people get to go, "Ooh, that looks cool."
Yeah.
Oh, it's a yellow bleed on the Sea Singer there. Let's see. Let's get through this. Look for some really neat ones. More yellow, heavy yellows, different lighter. Some repeat. Basically, it's a known misprint. Each sheet in sequence would have a similar issue. If it's missing ink, well, the next one's going to be missing ink. The next one's going to be missing ink until either the ink's completely gone there, or they added more of that color ink, or fixed whatever was restricting the ink flow on that particular section. I'm still learning all the different technological
Technical terms
specifications.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
technical
Yeah.
terms. Thank you. Still waiting on lunch, so my brain's starting to misremember little details and stuff. So a lot of different, it's pretty much ink errors, off centers, miscuts, oil spills, light ink, double, dirty rollers, roller picks, which is basically the ink wasn't fully dry. It picks up something off the card and may drop it up, looking identical as it did when it picked up off the one onto another.
Mm-hmm.
It's really kind of neat. I've seen a lot of instances where people have found both cards and put them together, and the spot is missing on one, and then added to the other one, you can literally see it matches up perfectly. It's more miscuts, or not miscuts. I'm sorry, crimps. Oh, 4-1. So let's see. Oh, player sets of stuff. Oh, SWAT versus Legacy. Foil common. What is up with this one? Doesn't. Not sure. I have to do a little bit of research on this. Here, let's you take a look at that. See while I go through the rest of these. Crimp on that. Crimp on this.
Oh, I
Here
see.
a crimp, there a crimp, everywhere a crimp.
The border on the front is on the top is thicker, and then on the back, it's thicker on the top and thicker to the left.
Oh, nice. So it's off center here,
That
off
top
there,
border.
and yeah, so it's misaligned. Excellent, good call. Oh, that's once again roller pick,
Yeah.
miscut with the white strip on the bottom. Oh, repopulate
I
also
love the art on that
probably
card.
possibly from the same sheet as the SWAT because it has a similar issue. Very possible it was were done at the same time or near each other.
I love the art on that card. The ferrets are cute.
Oh, a bunch on the top there. And here. All right. Oh, there's some. This should be registry error where the color plates you can even see that it looks a little blurry. I'm sorry, the set symbol is a little off where it should be, and the name looks a little blurry. Basically, each layer is printed at a different time, and if it's not match up correctly, then you'll get a registry error where it doesn't the layers don't quite line up right, and they look a little blurry to a lot blurry.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty neat. Once again, oh wow, here's a regular Gaia's Touch, but it's just off center. to compare to the one that it's way off that we talked about earlier. That's kind of neat as an example. They said primarily minor stuff. Person selling it really didn't want to worry about breaking them all up by themselves, but I enjoy doing that because that's what I do. I get people the stuff so they can have fun with it. If I don't do my job, they can't do their job. I'm fine with that. All right, it's kind of winding down here, getting through some extras, some nice duplicates in here. Actually, might be putting together some player sets of off-center playable cards like the Order Leapers. Some people play those in misprint decks. You know, it might be old school.
I think it's no.
Or 93, 94. No, that is old school. I think there might be a format where you can play these, and I know people try to get player sets of them. I have a lot of them that are off-center.
It's not pre-modern, is it?
It might be.
Can't remember exactly what pre-modern covers.
There's so many fun formats that people are developing because you want to have fun doing different things with this game. You don't want to just play it the same way every time. Here is, I think I actually have some of the Krovikin fetish. This would be a plate shift. You can see the blue line down the side where just the black was shifted over a little bit when it's printed. And so you can kind of see the blue layer underneath, and that's what's jumping out at you. And also, because of that, this is actually a blue, call them a gray border. So let's see if I can get, I don't know if I can get that in there. You can't really see, but the border, the black isn't, when they printed the black border is not as heavy ink. So you can see a little bit of the blue sticking through or bleeding through, which makes it appear like grayish blue. And if it was on a playable card, it would be very desirable. Crimp and different things. Oh wow, this is a twisted. This one is majorly twisted right there.
Really twisted.
See how this side is thicker at the top.
Super, super twisted.
Yeah. Printer icky / ink error there. A lot of neat. Oh, there's somebody who collects money changers. Need to ask him if he happens to deal in finance industry, and that's why. Nice miscut down there, twisted miscut, because you see how the line does not match up.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a background that's better. You can see.
Yeah, you can see a little sliver of it.
And it gets bigger on one side than the other. That's a twisted miscut. So that's kind of neat. Oh, wow. Do you see cracking? That's not only a miscut, but...
Printer hickeys.
Not printer hickeys. That's a pick, or... I have to double check on that, make sure that's not just damage. But it's a twisted miscut as well. Because, once again, that's not straight.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. All right, getting through this. Oh, foreign. So we have Italian, I think. Italian revised. Oh, and this is a sharp corner. Just got a little damage that happens. Set that aside so it doesn't get worse. Let's see a little bit of the next one. So miscut. Let's get through these, see if there's another extinguish known error. I think all of them were like that. All right, and just thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be doing more videos slowly but surely with misprints involved, but you know, not too much. We don't want to bore anybody. This one was just a big lot that came in. I wanted to kind of give everybody an idea of what to look for when we say we want your misprints. Some of them are not going to be worth too much more than normal, but some of these cards you wouldn't normally want to, you know, we wouldn't want to buy them, but because they look special and we know people who might want them, we can pick them up from you if they look really cool on a really playable card. Like this seething song is kind of neat. Somebody's going to want that because it's playable. Same thing with the Disintegrate Revised. The severe off center is definitely going to be desirable. Shocking, isn't it? Playable. That looks cool. You can see across from the table. Heavy inks. This is actually from. This one is Anthologies. Yes, this is an off center from Anthologies, which was a box set. So you don't see a lot of those at all, not to mention a misprint of them. And so there's a crimp on the bottom there, and miscut. You can barely see there at the bottom, a sliver of another card. But thank you so much for joining us today, and look forward to bringing you some more content soon.
And make sure to like and subscribe and share our videos.